Guys, if you're familiar to this channel, you will know I have been recently following on with the current reformation of Gorillaz, the animated band behind such great hits like Feel Good Inc. and Clint Eastwood, as well as Dirty Harry and the great song Dare. It's a bit of my voice. this will be unedited because I hate doing edited videos and I don't know how to edit really. Anyway, so far, as I've said, there's been a lot of news. I mean, a buttload of news. Since 2014, really, 24, like, very end of 2014, 2016, about the new reformation of Gorillaz. It's a great thing because I have missed the band since Do You Thing back in 2012, and I really have missed it because I know there have been people who've detested me for saying this, but the music scene has been crap. I mean, the mainstream, because I hate mainstream music, it's just shit. But anyway, in the last 2 years, really, there's been a lot of news. I'll start off by paying homage to the original news. The original news came in the form of two sketches. One, Murdoch, obviously, it being his classic Satanist self, and Noodle, which it already sparked from that. Literally, just those two photos. Soon as they were posted, it just went boom. Like, people lost their shit over that, including me. I don't know, fucking orgasm for that. Anyway, but since then, he did confirm Gorillaz are back. I hit the roof. I was happy. But anyway, in those last 2 years, a lot has been announced. A lot of collaborators have been announced. We've got Harris Elliott. I don't know if he's a collaborator or whatever. We got Remy K. Baker and Harris Elliott. I think that's mainly the voice acting because Remy K. Baker is the voice of Russell. But the musical collaboration we've heard of so far, probably just me so far, is Liam Bailey, Vic Mensa, and this is still confused. This is part of 2015, like very late 2015, 2016. We had a very confusing post, if you get me. It was very confusing in the end because there was a teased David Bowie collaboration, and that was about near the end of December when David Bowie had been completing his soon to be known as final album, or his final whims, Black Star, which is the album I love. I've got that album on my phone. I'd love to buy it, but I ain't got the money right now. But anyway, the picture was posted in December of 2015, and we were all on hype. We would have absolutely loved to see a David Bowie collaboration with Gorillaz because we already knew their voices went together, like their musical prowess and their legendary status went together just fine. I mean, Dave Bowie and Damon Albarn had already performed together once, back in 2003 on French TV. Yet not a lot of people know that, and that to me was one of the most kick-ass performances I've seen, other than Gorillaz, because until 2011 I didn't really know much about Dave Bowie. I was already aware of him before, so I've known Dave Bowie since like 2006, 2007. And that was when I was a child. I knew a lot about his music already. Anyway, but the reason this has been confusing is because as of his death on about January the 10th, we didn't know whether any sort of recording had been done. We don't know. No footage has been released. Nothing's been said really. Came like talking about that part of the Reformation, like Dave Bowie's collaboration with the Gorillaz. Because I'm like, I would have absolutely loved to see David Bowie with Gorillaz, because in a way it suits his world. But God never lets us have a good thing for too long. Either way, but I've been getting on. I've had to kind of bite my teeth for that, or bite my tongue, whatever. But other collaborators that have been announced are ones, no offense, that I don't know of. One being Liam Bailey. I may not know this guy, but he already does look, from his pictures, he already does look a bit of a kick-ass artist. And, he looks a bit chilled. Which I like an artist that's chilled. I hate those artists that are all uppity. He's also signed another artist I didn't exactly know of. I'd heard their name before. Vic Mensa. Who I've actually listened to a few of his records. He sounds pretty kick-ass, so let's see if he can make the new Gorillaz album really fucking special, like what Jamie has been saying about the album. But anyway, on the subject of the last 2 years of the information, there's been a lot teased, like in the artwork. We're seeing a new kind of world just forming around Gorillaz. Like, pardon me, I said it's unedited. If you wonder what that was because of Coke. Anyway, but with the reformation in about 2015 area, the artist, James Hewlett, his sketches were just normal, really. They were amazing because they were revealing new locations where the Gorillaz are, and we don't know really where they are. A lot of the artwork has been all over the place. Like, it's been in different places and different settings, like any artist would do. But since February this year, around about January, February this year, he's been adding this effect to his artwork. It's from this app apparently called Glitch, or whatever they want to call it. And it actually makes his art look really good and more interesting and more introspective. I can see his artistic prowess. I mean, he's always been a really good artist. I've known him for a long time, since, Tank Girl and stuff like that, and Gorillaz, and, I've understood his art. And I know he is one person. I got the same personality as him. I don't like to do the same thing over and over fucking over. I mean, I only do it for a little while, but then I move on. But with this new artwork, it seems, well, as I said in my previous, my first one about the Reformation, which I'll probably put a link in the description so you can watch that one. But with this one, with this current information that I have, Damon Albarn has confirmed that work started on the album in September 2015, and right now it's about pretty much the end of July 2016. It's like 24th, 25th, I think. I don't keep track of dates anymore. Anyway, but yeah, so that's been like nearly about half or more than 3/4 of a year now. So the album should nearly be done. I mean, it would be great if we didn't just have 15 songs. I know that's being very demanding. I know that's me being a bitch. But I like it when you've got more than just 15 songs on one album. And if Jamie says this is really fucking special, I hope that is what he means. I'd love to have more songs on there. I mean, call me picky, or whatever you want to call me, but I just like more songs than 15. Because 15 songs, Gorillaz songs are normally around about 3-4 minutes long. Times 4 by 15, you ain't got long, you got an hour. I mean, I like to have a bit over an hour or so of recordings. Either way. But with this new artwork, I am more than happy to see how the Gorillaz have evolved. Excuse the pun. But yeah, it's great to see the Gorillaz are changing, I mean, we saw phase 1, now it looks like digital art you'd find done by anybody else. I'm not saying it wasn't unique, Jamie. I'm not saying it's not diss. It's really good art. But yeah, after that point, we had phase 2, which really introduced some detail and some more darker elements to Gorillaz. There had already been some dark elements within phase 1. But, I always loved that. And then when we came to phase 3, there was a lot of detail. It's kind of like Jamie was bridging the gap between virtuality and reality to bring us something of a great project. But, stuff fucks up. Like, Jamie and Damon had already split up once, so I think that was around about 2002, 2003, and that was until phase 2. And what happened last time, before now, is is that Damon and Jamie had already been having some creative differences over Plastic Beach, the album, mainly because the songs didn't sync up with the music videos. I can understand, but then again, Damon and Jamie are like Alpha and Omega. They are different people. I can understand their artistic differences. Everybody has that. Like me, for my artistic preference, I love horror or things that scare the shit out of me. That's what I like. And no matter if people see that as illogical, that's my kind of shit. But yeah, with this current reformation, what would be great, because there has been 3D effects added to these glitchy pictures, which look fucking OP. I'll say that. I'm sorry if I'm swearing so much, but with these new pictures, they got like a kind of 3D effect on them, and sometimes it's making me question: will we be getting like kind of 3D glasses with the album, or is that kind of trying to say there'll be 3D performances? I would love some more hologram performances. It's not a diss in the way of saying I hate you, Damon Albarn, or I hate you, Jamie Hewlett. I love both of them equally. I really do love them. Not in the gay way, but as artists, I really love them. But I would love to see the characters a bit more in their live performances. Not just on one screen, like as in holograms like they did from 2002 at the Brit Awards onwards, really. Like 2005 at the Grammys and the Brit Awards again in 2006 with Dirty Harry. Stuff like that. I really enjoyed stuff like that. But I don't know why they stopped doing that. And if they're gonna have, and if this is really gonna be really fucking special, I'd love to have all the characters doing more shows, more sketches together, because then it brings the whole Gorillaz project, properly together. Because you can't just have an animated band with just people or animated characters that don't even speak. I mean, yeah, you got interviews, but those interviews you don't see the characters. You just see people. It's kind of like a podcast, really. I mean, I enjoyed their interviews through Phase 1 and 2. But in Phase 3, they weren't really getting interviewed. But then again, they were on Plastic Beach. There was no real communications within, like, video or audio visual to the communications. They mainly used, pirate radio. Either way. But with this current Phase 4, thing going on, 2014 to whenever, it's great that the whole artwork has changed itself up. And don't think that's a bad thing. That is amazing. To see the Gorillaz have really changed themselves up. And it says the album is going to be a lot more energetic, which I'd love. I mean, the last album had a great, in a way, mantra to it. Like, it's saying about, in a way, the motive or the lesson we all learned about from Plastic Beach is that we pollute the earth and that we shouldn't take the things we love for granted. That's a great sentiment in any album. Like, to me, there is no other truer albums than Gorillaz or David Bowie, really. They speak of the truth. It's kind of like they're the great prophecy of the world. But yeah, with Phase 4, it really would be great if we could get some stuff like audio visuals, holograms, just stuff to bring the whole project to life. A bit like Frankenstein, bring it to life and give it sustenance. I mean, if you really want to say that the album's really fucking special, you've got to really stick to that and make sure it really is. Peace out.